What's good, everyone? It's been a minute, but we are back here for the Hoop Culture Podcast. My name is Jayden Simmons, joined by Dakota Haynes and El Presidente himself, Shane Davis. What's good, y'all?
What's poppin'? It's good to be back. NBA season isn't fully kind of on the get go yet, but we're getting there, so it's time to get back into things.
Can't can't miss out on the WNBA season though. So
For sure, for sure.
That's
But
true.
it might be the NBA offseason, but we were blessed that it is a year where we got to witness the Paris 2024 Olympics, and Team USA brings home the gold medal once again. Man, oh man, how did you guys feel just watching the entire run?
all I have to say is you released that article about Kevin Durant being the Captain America way too soon.
I think so. I think so. Shane, put him to
Yeah,
sleep.
it was it. Yeah, put him to sleep, put him up, baby. It was a struggle at first. I'm not gonna lie. There were a lot of close games. I was kind of on the edge of my seat a little bit, but they got it done. They did what they needed to do. Everyone stepped up when they needed to. Um, Even guys like Jason Tatum handing out waters left and right. It was crazy. Um, Props to everyone that played on that in that game. Uh, it was fun. I enjoyed it, and obviously it was great to end with the gold.
No facts. And um, I like that you mentioned like the games were close at first. It was a little scary. Um, I saw a lot of debate of saying like, oh, America isn't as good as it used to be. Of course, everyone's going to compare every team to the dream team. And I just want people to understand the problem isn't that Team USA is getting weaker. The problem is that the rest of the world is getting stronger. I mean, the
Yeah.
dream team faced
Absolutely.
six NBA players, and the 2024 team faced 59 NBA players. Like, it's just a big difference, you know?
Mhm.
And
And I mean,
that's be a game scared me though.
bro. And I just want to touch real quick. Let's not even ignore the fact that we didn't even get the Slovenia, or is it Luka
Yeah,
Slovenia,
yeah,
right?
Slovenia.
The Slovenia team. They didn't even make the Olympics, and I think Luka could have just destroyed some of these teams.
Hmm. Yeah, and Steph Curry, he was the man of the hour in those last in those tournament games. Like he just couldn't miss. It was crazy. And like this was his first Olympics because he's missed the other ones due to injury and and other things. But Dakota, how'd you feel seeing the chef take center stage?
Man, that was amazing. I
Tell him,
Yeah, it was
tell him to his
absolutely
face,
amazing.
Dakota. Tell him to his face.
I
Just
hated
tell him
it.
how amazing he is.
I hated it only because Shane is a Warriors fan, okay?
How do you know?
For sure.
How do you know? Just kidding. Just kidding.
But yeah, man, we talked about it a little bit before we started recording, but this is probably the last time we're gonna see Steph, KD, and LeBron represent the country, and because by the time the next Olympics rolls around, who knows if they're still going to be like playing in the NBA, but definitely don't think they're gonna be on the 2028 team, and it just kind of feels like end of an era, last dance. Like, how do y'all feel about that?
I mean, as much as I've enjoyed um, talking trash with bronze stands throughout the last 8 9 years, it sucked. It sucks. It sucked seeing that and thinking like this is the last time we're gonna see something like this outside of like the All Star game or something like that. Um, it was a very special moment, and I mean they're all three absolute legends of the game. And I did cheer for Kevin Durant a few years here and there when he was in Seattle and then when he was in Golden State. But yeah, it sucked seeing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Dakota?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where Team USA goes next Olympic cycle.
Mhm.
Without Steph Curry, without LeBron James, without Kevin Durant, it's gonna be tough. The rest of the world is getting better, like you mentioned, and it's gonna be hard for USA to keep up
Mhm.
moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And going back to the Captain America KD article I wrote, KD in this Olympics cycle officially passed Carmelo Anthony for the most points by an American in Olympic history. He also passed him on the rebound list, passed him on the 3-point list, passed him on pretty much every single list, as well as becoming the first male uh, USA player to win 4 gold medals. So how important is this to like KD's legacy?
I think it actually did more than another title might have done. Um, just cementing his legacy outside of the NBA. Like, yeah, he's probably arguably top 12 all time in
Hmm.
NBA is probably roughly correct.
Sounds
And
about right.
but outside of the NBA, like in international play, I think he's clearing away the best as far as specifically international goes. And so I think getting that fourth in four Olympics, 16 years, that's you got to put it in that perspective. 16 years, he's won 4 straight Olympic title, like Olympic golds. So I think it definitely helped his legacy.
For sure. And KD stepped up in a time where his first Olympics were came after the Redeem Team, where we didn't have anybody returning from that original team, and he kind of stepped up. And I kind of feel like we're entering that same territory in 2028. So who are some guys that you guys see being like those leaders for the 2028 team?
Tyrese Halliburton for one.
For sure, for sure.
Jason Tatum probably going to be another one.
I like D
Shout out
Book
to
too.
shout out to him for handing out the waters, though.
Yeah.
Bench player of
Yeah.
the year.
Yeah, I think Ant and D Book are also going to be really like probably
Absolutely.
the two best, honestly.
I think there are 2 guys that did not play this year that I think probably should have been on the team in my opinion, just because of the role they could have played. 2 or 3 honestly, and I think they absolutely will be and need to be on the next Olympic team, and that is Jalen Brunson and
Mm.
Jaden McDaniels. I
Mm.
Speaking of
think
which, I
Jade.
actually read an article that was like the way too early prediction for the roster for the 2028 Olympic team. Jalen Brunson was on there. Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey was on there. John
Nice.
Morant, Trey Young, Cade Cunningham,
That's a lot of
De'Aaron
guards.
Fox.
Yeah, I don't know if
Uh,
you need that many guards.
well, these are just like options for each position. Those were the
Oh, okay.
options for point guard. Then at shooting guard, you had Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Suggs. Small forward options, you have Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant at 39 if he decides to play, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brown, Jalen Williams, Scotty Barnes, and Brandon Miller. At
Ooh,
power
Brandon Miller's a
forward,
nice one.
as the power forward options, you have Zion, Cooper
Ooh,
Flag, who will be 21.
no. He smoked
Pa-
this roster.
Yeah.
yeah. Paulo Banchero,
Ooh,
Evan Mobley, Trey Murphy, and then as the center options, you have Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo, Chet Holmgren, Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler. And then the tentative final roster that this article that I saw mentioned was Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant with a star next to it. And if he doesn't play, they suggested Mikal Bridges as a runner-up. Jalen Williams, Zion Williamson, Cooper Flag, Paulo, Bam Adebayo and Chet Holmgren.
I would love to see Chet and Wemby face off in
That
an
would be fun.
Olympic setting.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I really do think they're missing Jaden McDaniels. You need a player that's going to be just a dog on defense and doesn't need to score on offense.
Facts.
And Jaden McDaniels is that, embodies all of that. He is literally that exact player you need.
Mm-hmm.
So and he's young.
Sean Marion,
he's young and talented. So
the Sean Marion, Andre Iguodala type.
yeah, exactly. I think you need that as well. But that I honestly thought about it. I saw some videos like that as well, and I was like, "Yo, this next roster could be pretty nasty if we're being completely honest. Like, it could be really nasty, especially some of these guys that are like they're already budding superstars, and you just give them 4 more years, and they could all be superstars.
Facts.
And have just a dirty team
for sure. Now, we did take home the gold for the men's team. We took home the gold for the women's team. But one place that we didn't take home the gold was the 3v3 basketball team led by Jimmer Fredette.
Oh, man.
We didn't send any NBA players or any active NBA players. Didn't really send anyone of note. And Trae Young on the Paul George podcast mentioned that he would like to see some NBA players. He didn't even say stars. He said high value NBA role players represent the country in the 3-on-3 setting, because it's kind of disappointing that there's basketball going on and America's not the best. So I personally agree with Trae. I have an idea of a couple of guys that I would love to see in a 3v3 setting. I just want to know if you guys had some guys you want to look out for 2028.
Man, I'm trying to think of just like a quick, off the top of my head, like 3 guys that I think would be really not even just, I don't know if it would mesh well or anything, but it would just be really fun to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
I think right off rip, I think of Ja. I think it'd be really fun, especially with the rumors that he's actually now weighs less than he did at Duke, Zion.
Mm.
And
I always wanted to see Zion and Ja Morant team up.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother thing as well. And then I'm really trying to think of another third guy that would just be like fun to watch, because 3-on-3 is a lot different, a lot more like, I feel like you can do a lot more for show type things in a 3-on-3 tournament. No, you need Ant on that 5 on that actual team. Ant's gonna be your probably gonna be your number 1 guy on that roster.
Okay, Donovan Mitchell.
I like Donovan Mitchell.
I could see that. Yeah, I'm cool with Donovan Mitchell.
Then you just have Ja Morant lobbing it up to Zion and Donovan Mitchell all the time. And even going in himself and dunking.
Man,
yeah.
if I'm giving you like a straight role player team though, give me Emmanuel Quickly, Josh Hart, and Naz Reid.
Ooh, Naz Reid.
Tell me they don't win gold.
They win gold. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, just
I think another one that would be
gold.
I think Kuminga would be a really fun one to see too.
Oh yeah. Just give me ISO ball. Just give
yes.
Jalen Green out there.
Absolutely.
Doing some ISO ball.
Yes.
12-second dribble tween hezzy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Every possession is just someone else's turn to ISO.
No, for sure. Dakota, you had any players in mind?
Not really.
It's hard to think off the top of your head.
There really is just a ton of options.
Yeah, especially because we don't know who's going to be doing what in 4 years.
Mm.
We don't even know who's going to be in the league in 4 years.
I mean,
Very
I
true.
could step out there.
Give me a 10-day contract.
Hey, I could do it.
I'll give you Nick Batum minutes for sure.
Absolutely, I'll take it. Nick Batum France minutes, is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. So, of course, since it's the summertime in the NBA season, that brings us to the off season, and the thing that kicks off the off season is the NBA draft, and we shockingly have not had an episode since the draft. So, it came, Summer League came and went. Who are some of you guys' early picks for some
Go,
rookies to watch?
Bronny
going
James.
back to it, going back to the last topic real quick. I could give you Tony Snell minutes.
Okay, Tony Snell, zero everything across the board.
Yep.
For sure. So Shane, you said Bronny?
No, I was just kidding. Um, he'll probably get some. He'll probably get called up at some point for
Yeah.
the whole being on the court at the same time with his kid thing. But I wasn't too really into not on purpose. I didn't really watch a ton of the college basketball this year.
Mhm.
So I wasn't really too familiar with a lot of guys' game. But I think I'm just excited to see like how most of these guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really know a lot of them. Bronny James is
Yeah,
probably the one I know. Um, so I'm just excited to kind of see what the rookies do.
for sure.
I'm a Blazers fan, but I'm really excited to see what Donovan Clingan is going to do in Portland.
Interesting. Didn't
I
you just
think
call me biased? You just called me biased for bringing up Kuminga. So what does that make you? Sorry, I just had to ask.
no, but seriously, like I wanted Clingan in Portland, and I didn't think the Blazers would actually get him. So the fact that they did, I'm really intrigued to see what he's going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, Clingan, he was one of my favorite prospects coming out of the draft just because it's like you're having this whole mold of like guys that you just have to look at as future Wemby stoppers maybe. And I mean
Mm-hmm.
Clingan, he's 7'2", he's an athletic big, he can block shots, he can catch lobs. I think he's gonna fit in really well next to Simons and Shaden Sharp and Scoot. I think that he fits them really well.
Unfortunately, my boy Simons is not going to be kept. The Blazers are going to trade him
Probably.
before the season even starts.
Sheesh. You think that soon?
Yeah, they're
Welcome
they're
to the
really
Guanabang Tigers.
they're really looking toward trading him.
Man, man, that's too bad. I feel like Scoot could benefit for another year learning from Simons, but got to get the value where you can for sure. Um, another,
Scoot needs a vet.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Scoot needs somebody like Patty Mills to learn behind.
Yeah, or maybe like a Tyus Jones
Yeah,
for sure. Or Markel Fultz is still in free agency right now. I feel like he could provide some value
yeah. Markel Fultz would be good.
Mm-hmm.
for sure. One rookie I'm really looking forward at seeing the how he fits this year is Rob Dillingham in
Mm.
Minnesota. I was really shocked that they traded into the top 10, and like Dillingham, he's one of the most exciting players to watch. Him and Anthony Edwards on the court together is going to be crazy. I feel like they are building him up as like the point guard of the future, and having him learn under Mike Conley is going to help his game a lot. And I'm excited for the highlights between him and Ant. It's gonna be crazy.
That's gonna be fun. Absolutely.
You know what I'm excited to see though is I'm excited to see what Oklahoma City does with Nikola Topic.
Yeah, yeah, I like his game a lot too.
If they decide to put him next to Chet Holmgren, I think that could be a nasty front court.
Yeah, and the Thunder, it's gotten to the point in like just 2 years where they've gone from just kind of throwing rookies out there as experiments to now it's like we don't even know if Topic is gonna make the rotation because of how deep their team has gotten now. But yeah, I think he fits them really well. He's what you wanted Josh Giddey to be, but already better at a younger age. It's kind of crazy. Um, so yeah, I think that he's gonna fit them really well
Yeah.
for sure. So where the magic really happened was around that June 30th date when free agency officially opened up. What were some of you guys' favorite offseason moves?
Oh
Shane, you
man,
look pained over there, man.
it's heartbreaking, man. But it needed. It sadly, I think it needed to happen. Um, it just he did great off the bench. I don't know. It's just me. But I would have loved to see him keep the big three together. But I think he'll be okay in Dallas. For those that don't know, we're talking about Clay. I think everyone at this point knows we're talking about Clay, but I think he'll be fine. I don't think he'll be like amazing. I think he could. I think his ceiling would be like what he's done the last couple seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he'll like just completely be abysmal. Because I mean, shooters could shoot. It's different than like dunking. Shooter
Yeah.
can shoot for a lifetime. So I don't think he'll be horrible, but I don't expect anything crazy out of it, especially when you're on a team with two ball demanding guards already.
But y'all got Buddy Hield to replace him. So
Absolutely.
Shooters can shoot. Buddy Hield.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Since 2020 made him and Curry have the most threes made and the highest 3-point percentage.
Nice.
So it's kind of like we just replaced with a younger Splash Pro.
Slightly younger,
Slightly.
I guess.
Still younger though.
You know, you two had your time to throw your biases out there, so it's only
Let's hear
right
it.
that I
Let's
talk
hear it.
about
Yes.
Al Bridges trade. Oh my goodness,
Yes.
New York City, let's stand up.
I honestly didn't think that was going to happen. I was, with how much I was hearing Brooklyn wanted for him, I was like, this dude's never, ever leaving Brooklyn. And then I saw the news and I was like, damn, good for New York.
Yeah,
That is nice.
and you know, like I'm happy about it because it shows that the front office isn't afraid to go in and try to win now. We did give up a lot. It was 6 first-round picks. I mean, you can't shrug at that. But you know, hopefully we just extended OG for 5 years. We extended Brunson with the greatest discount ever. Like, shout out Jalen Brunson. So he's here until 2029. Randall's up for an extension. We got Bridges for the next 3 years. We got Mitchell Robinson for the next 2 years. We still got Josh Hart and DiVincenzo. Like, the core is going to stick together for at least the next 4 years. So I'm not too worried about those draft picks. Maybe the 2031, but I mean, that's 6 years from now. I don't care. I'm not going to say that we're a contender just yet before the season starts, but I think that we are going to finish no worse than the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, yeah. I think you're top 4 seed.
I agree.
Top 4 seed.
It's like just having, because you know the thing that took us away in the playoffs was our health, and like of course you know with the Tom Thibodeau team that's always a risk, but just the idea of having a starting lineup where you have, and I'm thinking about game planning against the Celtics, you're gonna be able to put Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby on Tatum and Brown and be able to like hide everyone else on defense. I don't care if Drew Holiday's taking 16 shots in a playoff series. I'm not scared of Derek White. I'm not scared of Drew Holiday. If we have to make anyone but Tatum and Brown beat us, I like our chances.
Yeah. Yep.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
I think it's going to be for the Celtics. You brought up the Celtics, so I think everyone's expecting all this like crazy stuff for them again this year. I think they'll be great, top 4 seed as well, but I just don't see them going back to back personally.
Yeah, I can agree with that to an extent. I feel like a lot went right for them in this playoff run. You face a Jimmy Butlerless Heat team, you face an injured Cavs team, you face an injured Pacers team, and like you know they were
faced
still
an injured Knicks team.
right, and like they were still like you know handily beating them. They were doing what they're supposed to do, and they didn't have Porzingis. But it's like you're not gonna get the stars to align like that 2 years in a row.
Mm-mm. If they do it, it'll be much tougher.
For sure. And my personal hot take, and I'm gonna make so many people mad with this one. I'm not afraid of Philly at all. I'm just not moved. Like
No,
Paul,
absolutely
30,
not.
34-year-old Paul George, okay. Like
If this was Indiana Pacers, Paul George, all right, you got me. But no,
it's just like Paul George. That's what you think the answer is.
Joel Embiid's gonna miss half the season with injuries.
And
Paul George
is
probably
gonna
gonna miss a
the other
quarter
half.
of it. Yeah, exactly. Tyrese Maxey will do his thing, but outside of that, there's nothing that's scary about Philly.
Yeah, I just don't see it. And like everyone's saying, oh wow, they're gonna be a top 3 team in the East. I don't see what makes this team different than last year's team other than the fact that Tobias Harris is gone.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
just don't see it. But one other, well, I'll say two other names that have been in trade talks. One much more closer to getting dealt than the other. Have been Larry Markkinen, who just signed a contract extension in Utah, and Zach LaVine, who was in Chicago, pretty much in no man's land. Shane, the Warriors were entertaining some of the Markkinen trade talks. Ended up falling through. What's your thoughts?
If the reports are true about what they were asking in return, I'm glad we didn't do it. Because if your goal is to get Curry a number 2 option, I do think that they have a number 2 option on that roster they have currently, and the Jazz were just asking way too much. There's like multiple firsts, and then they wanted like Kaminga and Pajemski or Moody or like a mix of guys that they just couldn't do it, and I don't blame them for that, and I'm kind of glad they didn't do it. If the reports are true, I will say. So it sucks because having a big name is always cool. Like for your trade over there with Michael Bridges, it's cool. Like to say, oh, we got a big name. Like this happened, everything like that. But I'm not too upset. I'm not losing sleep over it. And sounds like neither is like Curry. Like seems to be okay with how the roster's at. And they even said like they're not like done trying to make something work. They said they will keep doing what they can to do something up until the deadline. So I still expect to move at some point, unless things just completely take off and the Warriors are showing insane strides and being unbeatable.
Dakota, what's your thoughts on the Warriors not only striking out on Markkinen, but striking out on a lot of big names so far this offseason?
I was trying to pull it up in our Phantom Slack. Shane posted back on, what was that, July 4th.
America's
The Warriors' potential roster was Steph Curry. Don't know who number 2 is. Draymond Green, Lauri Markkinen. Don't know who 00 is.
Kaminga.
Okay. And then I don't even know who half those bench guys are outside of Wiggins and Buddy Hield.
Yes. What about it, Dakota?
Oh, and then there's
I
Kyle
remember
Anderson.
posting that. Yeah.
But I said it was the worst roster ever, and you said it was absolutely not. Jayden agreed that Draymond could not be your starting center in 2025.
Not here. I'm gonna pull it up just so I can tell you what this roster would be, so the people can agree with me. You said it was July 4th. All right. You got Curry at the 1. You got Pods at the 2. That's your new Splash Brothers right there. You got Draymond, Lauri, and Kaminga to round out, and then you've got DeAnthony Melton, Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson, Andrew Wiggins, and Trace Jackson Davis on your bench. I said, now I'll show you.
And
I had
Max
two
said
gripes.
They're going to be a nightmare to themselves.
I had two things that I was upset about with this roster. One, I would sub Trace Jackson Davis for Draymond starting at center. And 2, I want Gary Payton II on that roster. Outside of those 2 things, if those 2 things were happening there, that is an amazing roster, and I love it. I am here for it.
I don't like Gary Payton.
Good for you, Blazers fan. He broke your heart. There's nothing wrong with that roster. Everyone will agree with me. If you make those 2
everything's
switches,
wrong with that roster.
What? Tell me what's wrong with that roster. Tell me where it goes wrong.
Old.
Curry's still hands down the best shooter and probably top 5 point guard in the league right now. So keep going.
Draymond Draymond already has one foot out the door and wants to become a media personality.
Draymond would be your backup center. He'd be on the bench, starting on the bench. So I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Y'all didn't get Lauri Markkanen.
We didn't, but this was back in July 4th. So if he was on that
And do
team,
you really trust Pods?
absolutely. He was shooting like Curry last year and draining everything. He started over Clay for a rightful reason.
I don't know.
I think someone's just salty because Gary Payton is on the Warriors and he's not on the Blazers. That's what it sounds like. And it sounds like you got some Draymond bias. When Draymond came back from a suspension, that was a top 5 defense in the league. I'm just going to say that. Sorry, I'm off my soapbox.
No, I mean, it was
Dakota just knows how to get
definitely
me
an
going.
interesting offseason from the Warriors. I wouldn't say it was the worst one ever, but it's less than ideal. I don't think D'Anthony Melton is the answer, but it is what it is. What
Neither was Chris
yeah.
Paul. It's all about
That's true.
It's all
That's
about
true.
wins and losses.
One team I will say that I think had the best offseason is probably the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, you go out there and you flip Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso straight up. That's already insane. Then they sadly took my boy Isaiah Hartenstein out of New York, and I think that he fits perfectly with them, especially if you're running fourth quarter sets where you have Chet and Hartenstein on the court together. That's a little scary for an opposing team's offense. You're not really getting any shots there in the paint. And then, of course, you're bringing back, you still have Lou Dort, still have Jalen Williams, still have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, of course. Isaiah Joe, you brought him back. I believe they added another depth piece. I just can't think about it off the top of my head. I really think that this is the year where the Thunder go far in the playoffs. I can see them going to the Western Conference Finals. The NBA Finals is still up in the air in the West, so not really doing any hot takes there. But I think that the Thunder are going to be a really scary team next year.
Absolutely. I loved what they did this offseason.
It only took 3.5 years of tanking, but here they are. It did.
It worked.
The Sam Presti method is it's showing itself here. But I'm gonna drift away from the NBA for a little bit. The WNBA just came back from their midseason pause following the Olympics, and Caitlin Clark, after getting a month's rest, which is the longest offseason she's had since, of course, the WNBA season starts right after March Madness, came out there with a 29-point, 12 assists, 5 rebound performance, shooting lights out. She's looking very, very, very comfortable now as the second half of the WNBA season is officially underway. And on the other side, Angel Reese put up a 19-point and 20 rebound performance the other night. These rookies are they're making history. They're breaking records. They're balling out. And there's, a little bit of debate between who should be the rookie of the year between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. I'd like to know where you guys stand on that.
Dakota, you can go first.
Gotta go with Caitlin Clark.
Absolutely.
She's balling.
Shane?
It's not a debate to me. Rookie of the year is Caitlin Clark. She's just she is the reason there are so many eyes on the league right now. She is the reason that they are getting charter flights. And I know that shouldn't come into play, but she's playing lights out right now. She just broke the all-time single season assist record halfway through the season. And she's getting double-doubles. I think she almost had a triple-double, or she did have a triple-double at one of the few games right before the break. And she's just she's getting better every game. At first, she was kind of timid with it a little bit, and now you see she's 2 technicals away from a suspension. She's getting fired up. I love to see it, although I don't think she should have gotten text for some of the things, but, it is what it is. Angel Reese, on the other hand, she's having a great season. Nothing against her. I don't hate her. She's great. She also is bringing some attention to the league. It's great for both of them. But I can't get over the fact that a lot of her rebounds for her double-doubles have been off of her own misses, or they've been completely uncontested. Now, I'm not trying to crap on her for it or anything, but it's the reality of what it is. Statistically, you look at it and that's what it says. Also, I'm not a huge fan of her going out of her way in garbage time to get a double-double just so she can keep the streak alive. That kind of rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. And I know she's playing the villain and she's doing it great. And like I said, no hate to her. I just think Caitlin Clark overall is the choice.
I have to agree. I think that Caitlin Clark has pretty much wrapped up the Rookie of the Year in her favor. And like I said, pretty much, especially since coming back from the midseason break, she's just putting up insane numbers. And the thing that really sticks out the most in the Reese and Clark debate is the efficiency. For a long time, most of the season, Reese was shooting a higher percentage from the field than Caitlin Clark, but Clark has pulled her percentages up. She's shooting more and more efficiently every single game, and now she's surpassed Reese. And, if you're looking at the shot diet, Caitlin Clark is taking much more perimeter shots, higher degree of difficulty, and Angel Reese is, taking shots mainly in the interior. She's getting blocked a lot. But it's as a big, your percentages really shouldn't be in the 40s, and hers is now 39. So it's a little bit dicey there, but I love and respect Angel Reese's game. I think she's an incredible athlete. I think she's really good at getting herself in positions for rebounds. A lot of her offensive rebounds do come off of uncontested, but she's also putting herself in a lot of positions where she's rebounding the ball over 3 or 4 people. She's also been really, really good defensively, especially against stars. But I just think, as it stands right now, and it's really not a debate with the MVP because A'ja Wilson is just leagues above everyone else. But if there was an MVP ballot, I believe that Caitlin Clark would be on it, maybe as 4th or 5th. And Angel Reese just isn't there yet. I think she'll be there one day. But in terms of Rookie of the Year, I think that Caitlin Clark has pretty much got it wrapped up. And I'm very, very excited to see both of them as part of playoff teams because it looks like they'll grab those 7 and 8 seeds. So I think that, like Shane said, both of them are giving a lot of attention to the league. They're really important for the future of the league, and what they do in the playoffs will be watched by a lot of people. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I just love the status that the WNBA has right now. It's great for basketball. It's great, obviously, for the WNBA. And I hope it just keeps going up. If I wasn't in Boise, Idaho, I'd try to go to some games. Go Seattle Storm. I'll say it right now.
For
it's
sure.
Great. I'm excited.
And
for the
excitement's just going to keep on rolling. We got Paige Beckers entering the league next year. A lot of eyes are on Juju Watkins, who's coming in 2027. So, I just hope that the hype keeps it up. I'm excited to see what's next for the league as they continue to grow. But yeah, so for any final takes, did you guys have any hot takes that y'all wanted to get off your chest before we head on out of here for the evening?
Dakota, I'll let you do the honors.
No.
Give me a hot take. Give me a hot take, Dakota. Just off rip. Give me a hot take. Could be the hottest thing ever.
I see the wheels
Give me a
spinning.
wild take. I know.
The Oklahoma City Thunder are going to win the NBA Finals this year.
Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
I like that, though. I like that.
Okay. Dang. Okay. I see it. The Oklahoma City Thunder are not going to win the NBA Finals this year. That's my hot take.
Oh man.
That's not even really a hot take. You just went against what I said.
Hey, it is what it is. It's a hot take to me.
I will say this right now as my hot take.
Okay.
By the end of next season, Victor Wembanyama will be a consensus top 10 player in the league. I'm expecting a depoy. I'm expecting an All NBA appearance.
Are you expecting a top finalist for MVP or not?
I won't say top 5, but maybe like 6 or 7. I don't think the Spurs are going to be good enough
Okay.
yet.
Okay, I'll give you an actual hot take. Here. Anthony Edwards will win the MVP
I like
next
that.
year.
I like that.
Like that.
I'll give you an actual hot take there.
Ant is going to be the face of the league for like the next generation because he's just he's magic, man.
Yeah. Did you see the video of him just following Kevin Durant around? I loved it. It was awesome. It was like he was his
Shout
little
out
pet.
Anthony Edwards, man. But it's been a great time talking with y'all. This has been another episode of the Hoop Culture Podcast. We're back and we are going to be hitting the ground rolling as we're getting closer and closer to the NBA season. But until next time, I'm Jayden Simmons, joined by Dakota Haynes and Shane Davis, wishing y'all a good evening, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this. Peace out.
See ya.
See ya.